I met a lot of great people, but I think like a lot of vets, I didn't talk about a lot of the things that we saw and did over there. It wasn't until 20 plus years later when I start, processing and dealing with, the physical and the mental injuries, that I finally started going back to the VA and doing what I was supposed to do. And luckily, my therapist, being a vet himself, my last dog had passed away a couple years prior, and he recommended Canine Support Teams to me and said, I think it would really benefit, your healing journey if you were to get a service dog. My name is Brian Chesmore, Marine Corps. I was an infantryman, and I was also part of security forces. I was with Second Fast Company, which is a fleet anti-terrorism security team company. My unit was actually the first response team on the USS Cole immediately after the bombing that happened in 2000. Currently, I'm in law enforcement, and I'm still a military reservist. Day one, the ladies brought in 2 different service dogs. It was me and another veteran there. And Champ just kind of beeline straight to me. And I knew nothing about standard poodles. I didn't know poodles can get that big. I had the idea in my head of these small little toy yappy dogs. But yeah, this big handsome stud came up to me, and we just kind of bonded right away. And through the course of the week of training, I'd worked with several different dogs, but there was a couple times during the week I went back to Champ, and I just noticed that he just kind of honed into me, like my commands and taking my lead. And, being a former canine handler too, both military and law enforcement, I know what that looks like. So I just said, okay, he chose me. And at the end they said, who do you think is going to be your partner? And I said, it's Champ. From the day I started training with Champ, he got me walking again, losing weight, and just kind of returning back to the things that I love doing. One of the first trips we took after I got him, we went up to Yosemite and put on his booties and his vest, and we were hiking up mountains, and he was leading and charging the way, and pushing me beyond my comfort limits. And yeah, we've been hiking buddies ever since. Day in and day out, as you can see, he's very attached. No, well, not only to me, but my whole family, my daughter and my girlfriend. He just loves being in our company. He loves being around people. He's a very empathetic dog. Anytime someone comes over, as you saw when you came over, he just wants to be right by your side, wants to get that petting, even kind of like the nervous shake in my leg that I get sometimes. He just knows, and he puts his hand right there, and he's like, hey, Dad, calm down. It's good. I'm here for you. So, I mean, he just has that energy about him where he can just calm a room. When we go out in public, everyone loves him. Everyone wants to come up and say hello. And, and I try to be as gracious as I can. I'm like, yeah, let me just put him at a sit first. And he shakes hands, and he's just, he's like my little ambassador. We go shopping together. I take him with me almost everywhere that I can. We go out to restaurants, and he's so good. He just goes in under the table, and you kind of forget that he's there until it's time to go. And he just kind of knows, based on my body language, he reads me really well. He knows when to come up and, kind of help Dad with his back and knees, and helps me get up. And, and he just I drop things, same thing. He picks it up for me, and he knows all these variety of tasks that I kind of wasn't expecting, that the CST staff just said, like, hey, Champ can do this stuff for you. You don't have to do it all on your own and be ashamed that you can't do things. He's here to help. Once a year, we do our public access test. I had mine a few months ago now. We went over, and I basically go over all the commands. I can show that he can go around off leash, follows my commands. He doesn't get distracted. He doesn't get startled. But I also keep his training up around the house. As you saw earlier, he can open doors. He can turn lights on and off. I drop his leash or I drop something, he picks it up and he gives it to me. Didn't know this. I did my research on poodles shortly after, getting Champ. Didn't know poodles were the second most intelligent dogs. And I was like, wow, that's something else. I strongly recommend getting a service animal. I mean, I'd had animals pretty much, dogs especially, like my whole life. Honestly, I can't imagine my life without one. I have other veteran friends who suffer from PTSD and other, disabling injuries. And, they've all sworn by their service dogs, even those who've never had a dog before in their life. But I would say he's brought a lot to my life, made my life easier, but it's just more fulfilling. I mean, I couldn't imagine not having him at this point, because he's more than just, my partner, my service animal. He's, part of our family now, and I know that if anything were to happen, he takes care of me, he takes care of my girls, and I couldn't ask for a better partner. Like most vets, I deal with a multitude of things, and it's like, feel like you're a burden to society sometimes, or you're just, not in the most social mood because, hypervigilance or whatever we're dealing with mentally. But he kind of forces me to get out because, one, I got to get him his exercise, and two, I do have errands to do. And having him with me kind of bolsters that confidence for me to get out and, get walking, get exercising in, perform to the best of my ability. God knows he's helped me, lose weight, become more active, and it's not just that, it's fun. It's fun to get out, and it's good to see the positive attention he gets, and he gets to even advertise and be the ambassador for CST, because people always ask me sometimes, like, hey, where can I get a service dog like him? And I always recommend, like, hey, call CST. I go, talk to the people over there. They're wonderful, wonderful individuals, and they might be able to find an animal that best suits you. I had the opportunity to meet Champ's puppy raisers a couple times at different events. Extremely sweet people. They shared some photos of Champ when he was a puppy, and I can't thank them enough for like all the hard work that they did, because look at me now. Look at what it's benefited. He's in a very loving home, and even the inmate handlers, who work with these canines, and get them out to veterans like me or other people with disabilities, maybe not even necessarily veterans. It's just it's a godsend. It's like you're helping improve our lives, and I couldn't be more grateful. And I thank people like the puppy raisers and everyone else who step up and take care of these animals, and then have to give them up to come to people like me. But luckily they get a new dog right away. I got to meet one of the inmates who raised Champ after he was released, and I heard he's working at CST now. Wonderful gentleman, and Champ recognized him right away and came up and gave him love. And I just said, hey, thank you for everything you did with him, because he's, as you can see, he's great with me, he's great with our family, and everything you did is greatly appreciated. I even had a chance to write one of the other gentlemen a thank you card for raising him, because I know he's with Champ day in and day out, and all his hard work paid off. I wouldn't be able to afford my own service dog. I obviously, I live on a single income and my VA disability, but because of the grant that I received, for the PAWS program for Wounded Warriors, I was able to get Champ, without being charged for it after I applied for it. And, otherwise I wouldn't have Champ. So to the donors, I can't thank you enough, because this has truly, changed my life for the better, and I'm eternally grateful for it. My name is Brian Chesmore, and I am eternally grateful to Canine Support Teams for giving me Champ and enriching my life.